All right, top producers. So today we have Mr. Rico Glover, our social media superman. I've met Rico in person a couple years ago, and I was shocked by the knowledge Rico offers and the way he speaks. He's a great speaker as well, if you haven't heard Rico. So, Rico, I'm going to give you the opportunity. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. And by the way, I love that shirt. I actually have the same one.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. I do. So I love it. Period. I love it.
Christmas, I love it. You know, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, and
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you.
Great. Yeah. Well, kind of give a little background on myself. I've actually been in the car industry for about almost 18 years now, in and out. I actually started when I was about 20, 21 and got hooked into the industry. The money got good to me. And then I left it for about 4 years doing real estate. So I actually was a real estate salesperson, and a real estate salesperson, also a mortgage loan officer. But on each one of them, I was actually doing it completely through digital marketing. I actually did digital marketing to generate leads for my mortgage side and also leads for my real estate. And then when I decided to get back into the car business, I was actually at a real estate training, and I looked around and there was a room full of real estate agents just learning about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and things of that nature. It was completely packed. It was in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. And I looked around and I said, I know there's no one really teaching this in the automotive industry. So I said I could actually dominate it if I got back to it. And I started working at another dealership. I'm not going to say the name of the dealership, but it's a huge dealership. They own several dealerships across the country. And I actually got fired from that dealership because I started doing my own digital marketing. And I never forget the internet manager at the time for the local dealership, and then the actual director, I guess, of internet for the whole organization, who handled all of their 100+ stores, brought me into an office and said, I see your stuff is ranking right up there with our stuff that we're spending thousands of dollars to get promoted through SEO and search and website designers. And I basically had to sell them back the website domain names that I had that were personally branding me to sell their vehicles. And I never forget sitting in that office, and I told them, I said, so you mean to tell me because I'm branding myself to get leads and sales for people to come in and ask for me specifically to buy vehicles that are on your lot, you don't want me to do this? And the guy told me, no, we want all the branding to be for our dealership. And then he made the one question. Now, I didn't get fired that day, and when he made this statement, it was downhill after that. He said, what you can do is we'll give you access where you can actually manage our website and do our social media. And I looked at him, he was on the phone. I said, so does that make me the internet manager? He said, no. I said, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. And then the next statement that came out of his mouth was, well, he told the internet manager, well, we have a team in our headquarters that will actually manage your stuff. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I said, so I'm a salesperson, that the only way I make money is by selling vehicles on your lot. And I've proven that I can generate the leads. And you want to tell me that you're going to hire an outside company to actually do it. So after that, the relationship got a little tricky, and eventually we parted ways, and I became ghetto retired, meaning AKA I got fired. And from that, what I did was I started diving more into digital marketing, and actually spent about a year, about 9 months, really diving into digital marketing, Google Analytics, social media, traveling. Went to Google headquarters, was trained there. Was trained by Ryan Dice, one of the top digital marketer in the country, if not the world. And I'm actually one of his trainers now. So that was my story. And actually now I'm the chief digital officer for Bryan Honda, which is the oldest Honda dealership in North Carolina. And I can say this, we have some of the technology that folks like you, Velco, that's why I tell some of the guys here, I said, you don't know how good you got it. I said, I know personal guys that would die to work here with the programs that our dealership is paying for to brand your own business inside of a business. I got one guy who just called me before the call, who's actually on one of our salesperson, And with a $15 Facebook ad campaign yesterday, he called me at 8:30 last night and was like, Rico, my phone is blowing up. He said they're inboxing me. One young lady called me and spoke to me for 10 minutes. And that's not a rookie. This guy's been in the car business for, I think, since 2000 or so. Last year, he was our #1 volume salesperson, and he still gets excited about digital marketing. So I'm excited, as you can tell. I'm pumped up about the whole prospect.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. It's funny that you said that because I've been teaching sales for a couple of years now, and everywhere I go to dealerships, I remember the first time I met you, you told me about Facebook and target advertising, and it sounded kind of like something from about something in the future. I remember how excited I got, and now every time I go to a dealer, I share that information with you.
Yeah.
And they also get excited now after 2 years. I think they're catching on. As a salesperson, I had a similar experience as yours at a dealership. That's when Instagram first came out, and I was very, very active on social media as a salesperson. I was branding myself all the time. I used to sell hat tricks every day, so I had hat trick hashtags and world-class customer service hashtag and stuff. So we opened up a Maserati dealership where I used to sell cars at, and I made a video for the first Maseratis that hit the ground. And I had maybe, thousands of views. And the social media director at the dealership at that time, the GM, that I'm not supposed to be getting all these views because she's putting so much effort and thousands of dollars, salary to get the views, and she's got 7 views on her video, and I got thousands of views on mine, and mine are all organic, So she told the GM to tell me to take my YouTube channel down and everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm branding myself.
Exactly.
You know what we're doing here? And they're like, you got to take it down. You're using the brand, you're not using, you can't use that, your own brand. And like, okay. And then I had the whole plan for selling 50 cars a month. And one of the things that was part of my plan was to have my own website. To attract my own people, and I wanted to advertise the entire inventory without price. And when people see a car they like, to give me a call, and that was my only request. They were like, "We can't give you the inventory on your website because we own it." So then I found 43 websites where they had their inventory and they weren't even aware of, because they were selling to Cars.com, and Cars.com would sell to Cars Guru and. So I found 47 websites that they already had their inventory, and I said, "You guys didn't approve this website, did you? You wouldn't let me, the person who cars makes it, And that was crazy. I think it's easier to convince GMs nowadays, but it was because of all these social media companies that were getting in. Pay-per-click, Google people that were. Making crazy money off of dealers, and they didn't even know what they were doing. They were still figuring things out.
Exactly.
Using dropping a couple of cool words, and then they didn't even know what they were doing. Guys like me and you were a little bit ahead of them. Luckily or not, who knows why, but they tried to shut us down. So I'm glad that you continue. I'm glad that you continued on your way, and I continued my way. And now you have a lot of success. So could you tell us a little bit more about the process? Is that something that any dealership could implement right now after this interview?
Oh yes. I mean, the key thing is, and actually finishing up a book called The New Automotive Economy. It's going to be an ebook. And I was watching a video, and I'm going to post this on my LinkedIn a little bit later on today, and Gary Vaynerchuk, who's one of the top social media experts as well, Gary V, like he goes by. And I had an opportunity to start studying his stuff when I was actually in real estate. And then when I got back in the car business, he's written several great books, and now from building a small family-owned wine company to $60 million. And now he has his own PR and marketing company that does the marketing for top name brands. And on the video this morning, he mentioned how, or the video I'm going to post, he mentioned how you've got still some companies, and he mentioned Jeep, which is crazy because he's mentioned a car company. He mentioned how Jeep paid these millions of dollars to do an ad for a Jeep going up the hill. But when most people actually are watching TV, first thing they do when commercials come on is grab this and start scanning on there for stuff because they're zoning out TV. Most of the TVs, by the way, any channels that I watch, any shows that I watch, I DVR it so I can go past the commercials. But he said digital marketing, the money that all these companies are spending, the millions of dollars, eventually when they start seeing their competition taking away their core business through less expense and more results, it's going to start trickling over. So we're in the perfect places. I call this the perfect storm right now, Velko. The reason being is that the stats already state by 2019, actually, digital marketing, especially in the automotive industry, will almost double. Reason being is that nothing wrong with direct mail campaign, nothing wrong with radio, nothing wrong with TV. But just an example, I spent $15 yesterday to do a campaign for one of my salesperson. He got over 2,000 video views. He got phone calls. He got people that stopped what they were doing. When you can physically get someone, because there's only two things that people value the most. It doesn't matter who you are, what country you live in, what language you speak at. There's only two things that people value the most in their life, which are time and money. And people say money is not everything, which it's not, but it's right up there with air. But when you can get someone to stop what they're doing, grab a phone or send you a text or email, you have just created emotional engagement. So I tell any dealership that if you don't have, my crusade now is to actually teach digital marketing, especially with the automotive industry, because we're behind the curve. It's the craziest thing. We're the number 2 most expensive item that anyone will ever pay for in their life. And we're using advertising and marketing that someone like a Girl Scout is doing more with social media than some dealerships. You got Girl Scouts that have Instagram accounts and Facebook. Yeah, that are killing it.
Then the thousands of dollars they're spending on the company.
Yes.
Social media. And I'm like, you guys do any ads?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. How much what's your budget on ads? Oh, I don't know. We paid 10 grand for these people for the whole month.
It's the craziest.
Hey everyone, Velko here. Just wanted to take a moment to tell you about my great e-learning platform, The Steps to the Sale. If you're looking to invest in some training, if you want to be in the top producers category and make a cool 6 figures easy, you have to sharpen your mind. And Velko Sales Training, Steps to the Sale, is the way for you to achieve your goals. We offer over 200 video lessons and more are being produced constantly. So when you're ready to start earning higher growth and when you're ready to start building massive book of business and massive value in yourself, take the Steps to the Sale for a test drive by clicking the link below. Master your future today. I would also like to tell you I'm fully available for any questions or any assistance. Email me velko@velkosalestraining.com.
They don't understand. I actually, my little stint when I was out of the business, I actually started a PR and marketing company, a digital agency. And like I said, I was trained at Google's New York headquarters and met some great folks there, and no Google and no AdWords. But the craziest thing is most of the companies that are actually doing the Google search engine, the marketing, the digital marketing for most dealerships have no clue what they're doing. And the crazy thing about it is they can cover it up because, like you said, all you have to know is a couple of words: CPA, CTA, PPC, and you say that to someone that doesn't know anything about it anyway, and they will pay them thousands. I remember I had a meeting with a GM, my GM, and we were looking at a company, and I was like, we don't need them. And he was like, well, we're going to try them because a lot of people have used them. And at the end of the campaign, I went back and I turned the pay, what we had paid for, and I said, Look what they're doing. And it blew them away. But this is, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but they have a ton. And when I say a ton of dealerships, I'm talking about probably hundreds to thousands dealerships that every day are spending money. Well, let me change it. Wasting money, because what you got to understand is the way those companies get paid is by agency fees, which is normally about 15%. So to break it down on an easy way, and this is something that you can share with anybody you're talking to, most agencies don't care about results. Let me say that again. Most agencies don't care about results when it comes to digital marketing. Reason being is the first thing they ask you is not how many leads you want, not how many sales you want, not your growth, but they ask your budget. The reason why they ask your budget is because they charge you 15% of your budget. So the more your budget, the more they can make. They will never, most of them, now 99%, you're always going to have one that's a maverick that understands this. But most of them don't care about that. They only want to know your budget, because then they can calculate how much money they can make from you.
And if you
it's crazy.
If you want greater results, you got to raise your budget.
Well, I personally, this is the way I feel, and you can contest to this. You need more people like you and me that are in-house at the dealerships that understand how to read the numbers and how to execute. Even if you have to bring a team in that's an SEO expert, like a Google agency, you need someone like yourself or myself that is trained on digital marketing that can be accountable to those, that those people can be accountable to. But what happens is most dealerships will not spend the money to hire someone like a chief digital officer or digital marketing strategist that's in-house that can read the numbers. And it's the craziest thing, because in the car business, the only thing we work with are numbers. We work with numbers all day long, but if you go to any internet manager, any BDC manager, most of them, not all of them, because I've met some great ones, but most of them don't know the numbers. And it's because they're not trained properly. Point blank that, they're not trained properly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money invested in all these pay-per-clicks, and every lead that calls is
Mm-hmm.
and they don't look at it that way.
No.
If somebody calls your dealership, it means they've already done the research. They want to buy a car from you. You need to treat it as a buyer, and they treat it as a regular cold call, like somebody's calling to find out some information.
No.
And that's the main. They still have this 30-40% closing ratio where they should be having a lot more.
Yeah.
Post today's world. But you're absolutely right, and that's either the last thing they want to invest in. Dealers are very unique in the way they make decisions for where their budget is going, and a lot of times they take the money out of the salespeople with their pay plan, and they invest it into something so stupid like this. It's sad. So, would you be able to share maybe a basic technique that maybe
Yeah.
internet manager is watching now, maybe, and listening? Maybe.
The first thing I would tell anyone to do is, if you haven't done research on it, and you need to really get more knowledge on Facebook Messenger. That's number one. You really need to get, I'm going to say that again because I can't overemphasize that, within the next 18 to 36 months, I'm blessed that I actually I'm beta testing for Facebook, part of their new messenger platform. And I can't tell you how it works and some of the things, because I actually signed a non-disclosure agreement. But the only thing I can tell anyone, and this is from internet managers to salespeople, you need to do research on Messenger. Messenger. They even now, inside of where you do ads, they even have now, if you go and do Power Editor or regular marketing in Facebook, they've got a little section where it says Messenger, where you can do specific ads for folks that are in your Messenger. So I will tell anyone to research that Facebook Messenger, and then just start. A lot of my guys, some of the older guys, when I first started here, they said I would never do Facebook advertising and all that stuff. And I know there's people that say, 10x things, and which is good. I'm not knocking that. But some people can't see themselves going from $25,000, $30,000 to $100,000 a year. They just can't see it. Mentally, in their mind, they can't wrap it around. So what they will do is they won't do anything because they think they have to do all this extra stuff. So what I tell, when I'm training, I tell people 10x is good. And there's a group of people that can 10x. I tell people to do 2x. And what I mean by 2x is just do one thing a day, every day for 30 days. Just do one thing. If it's that you're not comfortable with Facebook, just start a Facebook fan page. Do the fan page. First day, just start it. Second day, go in there and put a picture on it. Third day, go in there and put a profile picture on there and a timeline. Fourth day, go in there and send it out to somebody. Because what happens is, after 30 days, even if you just do a small amount every day, by the 30th day, you've gotten so used to going onto the Facebook fan page that now you would want to do more stuff to it. And what's going to happen is after about the 15th or 20th day, if you do small steps and then start sending it to your friends, you're going to start seeing people comment on your stuff on your fan page and liking your fan page, and then you become addicted to it. But if you sit there and say, on January the 3rd, by January the 6th, I'm going to have a complete fan page with thousands of people on there, and they're going to be interacting. I'm going to sell cars from it. By January the 8th, you completely left the thing alone. But if you do one thing a day for every day for 30 days, you build up an immune system and it becomes addictive. By the 15th or the 16th day, you have to go onto your fan page to do something. But while you're doing that, also study, train, look at people like it. Go to your fan page and look at what you're doing. Go to some of the top producers, Google it. If you're a Toyota dealership, all you have to do is on the search bar on Facebook is put Toyota salesperson, Toyota cars, and you can see other people that are doing the digital marketing that you can say, hey, look, I like the way he did that. Let me try that on my page. But it's about doing something, one thing every day for 30 days. As simple as that. 10x. There's people like you, and I'm not bragging on myself. We can 10x, but there's some people that the only way they're going to succeed is by 2xing, doing one thing every day till they get a success.
Instead of doing nothing, right?
Instead of doing nothing, because their thing is, I can't be, because you know this. Being when you sell cars, there were people at the dealerships that you worked at that saw your success, saw you selling a ton of cars, but in their mind, I can't do that. That's Velcro. I can't do everything he's doing. So instead of trying what you did, same location, same vehicles, same hours, same pay plan, but in their mind, they couldn't do what you could do because it was too big. But if they were to do one extra thing a day, instead of going from 10 cars a month, they could have sold 15 or 12. But they didn't do that extra one thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did a lot of extra things. That's why I'm not a big fan. A lot of people, in the business say, this is a very simple business. It's not very simple.
No.
It's changing every day. And you need to analyze it. You need to, track your performance all the time. Test everything, because it's not a simple business. If it was that simple, a lot of people would be still in it.
Well, it is simple for the ones that want to make little to no money.
Yeah.
But for folks like you and I that see this as a retirement fund,
Yeah.
I don't look at myself as working at a dealership. I look at myself as being a partner of the dealership, in which they give me freedom to learn and put programs in place, and I can make an income from that because I'm the digital marketing. I'm the chief digital officer here, so I pretty much handle the training for social media, for digital marketing, set up the programs and everything of that nature. But in my mind, this is I call it a entrepreneur. I'm inside of a business, but I'm an entrepreneur. So I treat this like it's my business, just like you. You don't even have to tell me, but I know you've invested in your own personal business. I know you spend money on training and marketing. I know you spend money on tools and programs and software that your dealership may not have, but you don't look at it as I'm wasting money. You look at it, this is a way for me to grow my business inside of a business. And that's the difference between someone that will sell 10 cars a month and someone that will sell 30 or 40 cars a month. They take ownership of it and they create their own business inside of a business, an entrepreneur at a dealership.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity because the dealership technically gives you two franchises to represent that you don't have to buy in.
Yeah.
Brand.
Yeah.
Dealership that's been around. So any other like if you want to open up a dollar store, you got to pay $30,000 for franchise.
Yeah.
And that's a dollar store. So
yeah. That's for merchandise.
this is great. Great.
Yeah.
Have you noticed for those that are a little bit more advanced and they have been doing some ads? Have you noticed that the results are not as great? Is there another curve that people need to be looking at?
No, is the fact that the marketing has changed because I'm getting 1 cent click videos. I'm getting lead forms. I did a campaign not too long ago where we were doing 150 to 300 leads that came through Facebook, and the cost of it was a little bit under $1,500 total. I actually used a program of a friend of mine who actually did another program that I work with that worked well, but I'm seeing results. It's just that what's happening is Facebook's like Google AdWords. When Google AdWords first started, it was a low cost. You could get a keyword for, let's say, $8. Let's say Honda. And you wanted to target people that were interested in Hondas, used Hondas, CRVs, whatever. You may charge $7 to $8 because Google Analytics had a formula. They just didn't give you the highest priced. This would be a perfect example. The highest price, if it's three people, three businesses, 3 Honda dealerships, I'm using Honda, 3 Honda dealerships, and one bid on Honda for $10, and one bid on Honda for $15, and one bid on Honda for $5. Google did not give the highest one that AdWord. What they did is they used their own algorithm, and they figured out when the customer clicked on that Honda name, gave them the best information. Well, the website had to be good. The bounce rate had to be where they weren't bouncing off. So they actually developed that, in which they got real good at it. So the better they got at it, the more quality leads started coming into the dealerships. So what Google said was, now instead of $8, you're getting leads and you're getting sales. It may cost you $15 to $20. And as a dealership, you will pay that because you can go back and see this person clicked on here and they came in and they bought. That's what happened with Facebook. Facebook originally was just test marking it out because they didn't have most people thought that Facebook was for teenagers and kids. So they started giving you a low cost of entry to get these leads. And now you're seeing that the big players are now getting results from it. So now the cost is going up. So it's not the fact that the results are going down. It's just that the costs are going up, and the people that understand how to do it better are getting better results. I spoke about this I'm not going to say the name of the conference, but I spoke at this roughly 3 years ago at a conference. And these were gurus in the car industry. And I stood up and I said, what you need to do is you need to post videos about blah, blah, blah. Don't even talk about car business. And then what you need to do is you need to do engagement. I actually had a guru, who I will not say their name, that stood up while I was doing my presentation and basically booed me and said it didn't work. If you go into Facebook now, in their ads campaign, one of the criteria to actually market is engagement. I spoke about this 3 years ago, and now you see that the best way to actually generate the lowest cost per click and to get a sale is by directing your campaigns around engagement, creating engagement. The way I think about Facebook marketing and marketing in general is different than most people in the car industry, not in the digital marketing world, but in the car industry. Most of them think I'm going to put out an ad or I'm going to put out a special, or I'm going to put out a discount. Forget that. What you want to do is you want to create your own media. Let me say it again, just like you have code.tv media. Your goal of Facebook or digital marketing is to create your own media. When I say own, I'm talking about OWN, that you own. Your page is your owned media. So you do these ads on where you may have, like yesterday, I posted the car chase. There was a car chase in California. I just posted that. Reason why I'm posting that is I want to get people to come to my page that engage. I did a Krispy Kreme donut when the Carolina Panthers won, in which I had like 300 comments. I had people engaging on it. So then what I do is I take those people that engaged and I send them ads. They look at it as my media, my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, whatever it is a form of content. And byproduct is the ads, where most people look at their Facebook and all they want to do is put ads and put a car on there and everything of the nature, and they don't have any engagement. So the key way to look at this is that your digital marketing is your own OWNED media. Media that you own, that you don't go pay the newspaper, the TV, the radio station to go get, because you've got your own engaged fans that are actually watching your stuff.
Hey, Velko here, the professional problem solver. I want to talk to you about a great opportunity for you to master your future. The Steps to the Sale is the most relevant sales training in today's market, teaching you everything you need to get to that six-figure income and achieve your life goals. Take it for a test drive using the link below. I know you will learn something you never knew before in just these free lessons. You deserve success, and by sharpening your mind on the steps to the sale, you will achieve it. And hey, if you have any questions about anything you hear today, just shoot me an email, velko@velkosalestraining.com. I promise to get back to you.
How do you actually send it to these people? How do you target these particular people? How do you get their information?
Well, in Facebook, there's different. Number one, if you're a dealer or a salesperson, you have a list, an email list. You can actually upload that into your Facebook audience. So if you got 10,000 or 5,000 people in an email list, a CSV file, you upload it in there, and then what Facebook will do is it would actually takes about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how big the file is, and they will actually read it. And they will take that email address that's on your file, and they'll scan it to see if they're on Facebook. So now you've got an audience. You've got a built-in audience. So these people know of you. So now when you're marketing to them, you actually are sending it to the people that know you, like you, trust you, or have done business with you, or sending a lead. So you're working with the crowd that's already worked with you. That's step number one. Step number two is that Facebook has this thing called like audiences. So now you've got the audience that you uploaded, but then you can say, Facebook, what I want you to do is these are the people I know that know me, create a like audience and match them with basically the same stuff that my folks already like on Facebook, or their marketing and everything of that nature. So now instead of having maybe 1,000 people that you can target, you now have 1,000 that came from your CSV file, and now you got 5,000 that are similar to these folks that are now in your create like audience. Now you got 6,000 people that you can send content to. And what's going to happen is once you start sending content to these people, they're going to start engaging, and then you can start marketing to their friends and family. There's a great guy by the name of Joe Girard. The number one salesperson in the world. And I studied this stuff when it was VHS tapes. And the one thing, this was really my mindset on digital marketing. Joe Girard went to a funeral and he went to a wedding, and he saw basically the same amount of people. And he asked the funeral director roughly how many people come to a funeral. He said 250. He went to the wedding planner and said, how many people usually come to a wedding? He said 250. Back then, before digital, it was 250 people. But with digital, you're probably looking at 2,500 to 25,000 people. So even with that 1,000 that I mentioned to you, your friends and family that are in your audience from your CSV, then your 5,000 to create like audience. If you combine those two and then look at the people that know them, that know them, that know them, that's where you start creating your engagement. So you start small, email list, upload it into the audience, create like audience, send content, then put a little ad. I would tell you to send 4 times the content to one ad. So if you like Jeeps, if you're selling Jeeps, find an article about Jeeps, about what's going on, things of that nature. Send that stuff out. Then you send out an ad with just you, a video. That's the other thing is use more video than anything else. Do your video of, hey, this is Velco. Just want to let you know we just got this new blah, blah, blah come in, blah, 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 blah. But you're not targeting it to everybody. You're targeting it to people that you've been sending stuff to that now know you. So then they get the ad. They don't consider an ad. It's just Velco.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. And exactly where do you dump the CSV file?
Inside of Facebook, when you go into Facebook, and let's say, for example, you go to create an ad. So you can go to create ads. And right here, if you hover over this, Ads Manager, and then once you click on that, you go down here where you see where it says Audiences?
Yeah.
Let me go back. So click over here, Audiences, and then right here, create audience, custom audience, custom file, and you just take it. How do you want to add customers to this audience? Choose a file or copy and paste. So if I wanted to just do my CSV, I click there, then I drag and drop the file here, or I upload it. So once you've done that, it takes about 20, 30 minutes or so. And then what Facebook will do is they will actually give you a list. I can show you, for example, some of the audiences that I click, because most of the audiences that I have, I've created. Like this one right here. This was an audience I created from some folks that are watching our videos on Facebook. I call this a $5,000 ticket because it was a contest I ran, a Facebook ads campaign targeted to people that are in my market. So I not only do this for folks that I have their email address to, but people that engage on my page. To people that actually engaged on our page. So I did a contest. And from there, I now have 70,000 people that are in my market that I can market to. And this was just created 12/20. And the great thing about this is that it grows because Facebook is always reading. Engaged posts. This was one post that I had created, and I actually target those people that engaged in it. So now I can actually go in and I can send them, they watched our stuff. So now I can send them marketing materials, lookalike audience. This is the one that I just mentioned to you. So this was the video that I created for a contest for folks that like Carolina Panthers and Falcons during a contest we were running where you can win a pair of Panthers tickets. So from this, about over 100,000 people watched the videos. And then I went and I created a like audience, which brought it up to 2 million. With those numbers, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Out of over 2 million people in my market in a distance that I had, there's at least one person that's going to buy a car.
Oh, yeah.
At least. I'm going one very low because there's more than one. Because the thing that people fail to realize, and I hear this all the time, because when I was doing a training one time before, the person said, well, you're marketing to people that just clicking on stuff that want a free ticket or want a free prize or something in nature. And I didn't say anything to them at that time, but I was thinking, well, who else am I going to market to besides people Because sometimes you don't know when a person's car is going to go out. You don't know if they were talking to their wife last night at the kitchen table and their vehicle got 98,000 miles on it. And they know that when it hits 100,000 miles that it's going to cost them money. You don't know that. So if I market to everyone and then I'm sending them content, and then when that night when their car breaks down, and while they're sitting at the side of the road, they're on their phone and they're looking at my page and it says, inbox me now if you're in need for a car, I hit them at the perfect time. So it's about engagement. You never know when a person's, if that's the case that you're going by, that I'm sending out free stuff, then every direct mail campaign, every prepaid credit card campaign that's ever been sent out of the mail should have never been sent.
That's right.
So don't think like that. What you're doing is you're creating your own network, your own media, so that instead of paying CBS, NBC, ABC to market, because that's all they do. You never go, when you go to an advertiser, when a buyer comes in to sell you TV, radio, newspaper, no one ever asks this question. So out of all the people that are watching your TV, how many are going to buy a car next day or two? They don't ask that. They ask, how many viewers do you have? How many people watch your TV station? Which ones watch at what time and how many? That's the only thing they ask. Now, you or the dealership can have the same thing that for hundreds of years big corporations have had: TV, radio, newspaper, the opportunity to create owned media and then send paid advertising to it. But instead of you paying a third person party, you're actually using your own media to advertise your own content and advertising. It's the beautiful thing. It's the greatest thing in the world.
It is.
But that right there, like I said, just to show you, that's actually engagement. And to show you what I was speaking about, engagement, you can go here to create audience, custom audience, engagement on Facebook. I didn't know Facebook was going to come out with a custom audience for this, but I just knew that I got more results when I engage with customers. So with this, you can go on here, engagement on Facebook, and my lead form of marketing is video. So I can go on the video. I can choose people that watch one of my videos for 3 seconds, and then I'm going to choose the video. So I'm going to go to my Brian Honda site. So this is my dealership site, fan page. So I just did a video on hiring outside sales consultant. I got 537 views for that. I just did this video yesterday for my salesperson, confession from a car salesman. I got 2,924 people that viewed that video. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to confirm it, and then I'm going to put the name confession of car sales person. And then I hit create audience. And then what I want to do is I want to create a custom audience, expand your audience. And I'm going to do, now this right here to kind of give you a little hint, it doesn't matter that you have to put United States, because then you can dive down into your own zip code, because it's going to give you like 2 million people. And you don't want to, if you're a dealership in one part of the country, you don't want to advertise to one, you could, but you don't want to spend the bulk of your money there. But what this does is, and I'll bring it out, so about 2 million is good. When you actually create the audience, you can actually zoom into specific areas like 100 miles, 200 miles, whatever that nature. So as you can see, I just created that. So Facebook is telling me it's populating, and it says we're finding people who fit your audience criteria. You can start running ads with this audience right away, but be aware that your audience size will increase as the audience is populated. So I'm having Facebook take all those people that looked at that video that I had on my salesperson yesterday. This is real time. This is a great thing about digital marketing, is real time. I don't have to wait to the end of the month for my agency to come in and tell me, or the end of the week to tell me, well, this worked and that worked. I can look hour by hour and day by day to see what's working. So I just did that. So it's
most importantly, you can ride a wave. If you get a really nice video that gets 50,000 hits, then that's a whole different level. You can ride that wave because the analytics are instant.
Reason, I'm glad you said that. My salesperson, because I tagged him on this, the one that did the video, I tagged him and I took his contact information. Because unlike the guys that fired me, I understand that I could care less where the sale comes from. If I'm a manager, I get paid off the whole dealership. So the more sales that come in, the better it is for me. So I tagged the salesperson with his bot, his Facebook Messenger bot, which we created, and which later on I could tell you about that at another time. But I helped him create his Facebook Messenger bot. Then I put his cell phone number in the commercial. He called me at 8:30, and I can show, I ain't gonna pull up the text, but at 8:30 that night, and I started running the campaign about 6 p.m. yesterday. 8:30, he called me all excited. He was like, Rico, I just had a young lady call me, and she spoke to me for 10 minutes because she saw my video. Well, before I went to bed, I grabbed my little iPhone, and I went to and this is another thing if you're running Facebook ads, I went and I went to my apps, my Facebook ads app, and I just increased it by $10. I had spent $10, but I added another $10 to it. So this right here, there's 2,000 folks that actually watched the video. At the time when I did it this morning, when I checked, I had spent a total of about $17. $17. And that, I spent $15.47 to get reached over right at 3,000 people and post engagement over 1,300 for $15.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
No. And then
you can afford a budget like that.
All you have to do is spend $10 a day with the right plan. And if you understand how to do it, all you have to spend is $10 a day to generate a well above average income from leads that generate into sales. $10 a day.
So as a salesperson, is a $300 commitment, which is like you can one deal.
Yeah, you can dominate. You can kill it.
Hey, Velko here. Listen, we have been talking about some amazing selling tips and tricks, but if you want to know more about anything we've been discussing, you should check out the Steps to the Sale. It's the most relevant sales training in the market today, the ultimate process for creating raving fans and brand advocates. So click on the link below and join me in the Steps to the Sale. Master your future. Never take another fresh shop. Or hey, if you have a specific question, just shoot me an email at velko@velko salestraining.com.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there any other tips that you want to add, you want to share? Maybe advice for for our audience? We have general managers watching, salespeople, people from other industries, not just the automotive.
Well, I don't know if I could plug myself. I'm asking first before I say, I don't know if I can plug some of my stuff, some of my training.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, like I said, I actually am a certified digital marketer training, and I've got several programs that are really kicking off this year that are specifically for folks such as yourself and myself that want to use proven techniques. So I go more into depth on this. Like, for example, I have one program that I learned from a guy by the name of Ezra Firestone, who's an e-commerce genius, in which I train on e-commerce. There's another one that I train on Google Analytics, so you can understand Google Analytics. And these are 12-week classes that you would actually have some information on. So I'm releasing that probably within the next 30 to 60 days. So if anyone is interested, they can always find me on LinkedIn. I got a lot of followers on LinkedIn. You can look for Rico, R-I-C-O Glover, Glover on LinkedIn, or you can find me on my Facebook page, which my Facebook page is Rico Glover. And then you can also find my marketing company, Marketing Disruptors, also on Facebook. But just learning. You've got to train yourself. There's a huge opportunity for individuals and dealerships to really maximize this digital boom. But the key thing is you can't think like a Blockbuster in a Netflix world. And for some folks, we know what Blockbuster is, but some young folks, they like Blockbuster. What is that, a movie? Blockbuster was before Netflix and was the king and thought they would always be the king, and Netflix killed them. So don't be a Blockbuster in a Netflix world.
Yeah, that's a great end. Always think like the guy from Netflix did. Out of obscurity, he's now worth millions of dollars.
I appreciate you reaching out to me, Velko. I talk about you all the time. I think at least once a month I talk to my salespeople about you, and especially taking pictures. One thing that you touched on my heart was how you take your pictures of every one of your customers and keep that, and then they drive around with it. And at least once a month I tell a salesperson, because we had a program where we do it for free, and I still can't get some of them to do it. And I was like, this guy Velko has made money from just a picture from a customer, and they ride around with it. They keep it on there. Or I've told them about the time where you actually customize the delivery process, where when they come out, you got the rag, and you wipe down the steering wheel, and you're the first person, the fingerprints now that are going to be touching that. So I learned people got to understand, they got to marry the tech world with the real world, because there's no such thing. People always talk about B2B and B2C. There's no such thing as B2B and B2C. There's no such thing. It's H to H. No computer buys another program from another computer unless one person on one end and one person on the other end push the button. It's always H to H, human to human. We use the technology to actually make it a little quicker and a little faster, but there's no such thing as B2B or B2C. It's all H to human to human. When we understand that, it makes your life so much easier. So I appreciate all the stuff. I've learned a lot of stuff from you. You probably made me an extra $10,000 to $15,000. So I appreciate you.
Well, I like to think that you made me a lot more than that, Rico. I've learned a ton from you, and you're absolutely right about what you just said.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I was just wondering, if a dealership or organization wants to hire you for maybe just do more of a couple days seminar or even in-house training.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like I said, I'm a certified digital marketing trainer, so I actually go in and I can consult and see your loopholes, see what you need. And then my key thing is not to be your person that does it. I want to train your people inside your business. So just like I showed you where this right here was done last night, you don't have to call up your agency, but you got someone in-house that knows how to read that. I'll back them up and help them, but I want in-house. The rise of the digital marketing team is right now in not just the car business, but across all industry. So definitely just hit me up on Facebook or LinkedIn, and I can definitely give some information on that.
Yeah, I really liked what you said about H2H, and it's a good finish to our conversation. And the more people get away from that H2H, the more they try to be, business, the more irrelevant they become in today's world.
Exactly.
People are desperate for pure attention. People are desperate for interactions.
Exactly.
Right behind technology, and we talk about technology like it's a bad thing. It's just part of life. But
exactly.
Still need the relationship with others.
Yeah.
Nothing can replace that.
Yeah.
That's still the most powerful. Love is still the most powerful.
Exactly.